Alright guys, back to the drawing table. That is a big old honkin' reel. That thing is thick. Man, it's pretty sharp. It's the Akios S line 757 CSM. It has the level line. We're going to do another River Lunatic upgrade today. I got my coffee. Hope you got yours. These things take a little while. But I got two, of course, because when I fish, I like to have pairs or 3 or 4 of the same thing. And I do own the smaller brother of this reel, 656, I believe, CSM, and I liked it quite a bit. This thing is pretty sharp. I got one torn apart already, of course. I cheated just a little bit just to make things easier today. Hopefully we won't be down here forever. That is a big old gear right there, that main gear. I love the way this thing's built. All metal on that brake plate, including the yoke. It does have the bearings in the side plates, and I believe they come with the regular stainless steel bearings. Today we're going to do an upgrade. That's why we're here, and we're going to put some hybrid ceramic ABEX 7s in there. We're also going to put an upgraded worm gear on there with the hybrid ceramic bearing on that side. Hopefully that camera's showing that in there. Good, it's in there too. One of my favorites, of course, the ceramic paw. That right there will save you a worm gear. That's a major upgrade right there. Even if you just do that to your reel, you're going to save yourself some heartache in the long run when you're out fishing and that line wants to stay on one side and you can't reel in anymore. This reel is a brute. I mean, this thing is awesome. Even in the push where you push the button down, has EVA foam in there. EVA something, whatever you want to call it. But what that does, that goes inside that plate, and I think the reason why they do that is so the dirt doesn't get trapped in there and then go inside your gears. Probably help with water or salt, whatever, wherever you're fishing. Me, it's going to be mud and sand, dirt, rocks, because I fish on the river. But the reason why I'm doing this today is these are going to go on 12-foot rods, and they're just for this 1/2 mile, maybe a mile long stretch of the river I fish. Is full of structure, and so I really need a nice workhorse to get up out of there. I believe it's a 5.3 gear ratio, which is pretty nice. But pulling them fish out of that stuff, out of sunken barges and trees, I'm sure you understand, is a real job, and I'm doing it from the bank. So let's get to it. I'm going to start putting this thing back together, and I'm just going to kind of show you how I do it. So on this reel, the bearings go in the sides. Hopefully everybody can see that. So we'll go ahead and pop them in. So there goes that one. And that is on the drive side, so that one does not get that other, that wire. There's a wire that goes on one to hold that in place. This one's good. And I actually cleaned that out in there. It had some grease in there. When I'm running ceramic bearings, hybrid ceramics, I do not like grease or any kind of oil on them at all. So we'll go ahead and put this other guy in. I guess that's the volunteer. Pop that one down. This goes right on in there. That would be the left side. I'm right-handed. And right here, this is another thing, a big tip. Get yourself a dish so you don't lose your stuff. And that just goes right on down in there. All right, and we're in. There we go. That little clip just holds that bearing in place so it's not sliding around, touching everything. You don't really want all that stuff rubbing on too many things in there, you know. That's the whole point of the bearing, is to roll. So we got that part. Now these worm gears, they just slide straight on in. Clip side, it'll have like a cut in there. Before you do that, you definitely want to put your line guide on. Put your gear facing down, the gear opening down. Slide that on. Got little grooves right here, up in the top of that little bar right there. That'll hold that in place for you. And just weasel it in there, nice and snug. Keep one finger on that gear right there. That way it'll pop in. Once I got that in place like that, I'll flip that up and I'll grab my little clip that goes on right here. Make sure that's all on there before I ever put my paw back in that spot there. All right. In order to make sure that that's working right. See how that's moving? Shouldn't be moving at all. There it goes. See, now everything's tight. Screw that on down. Just a little tight, you know. You don't have to jack it down real hard. Something else really cool about this reel here is it has a magnetic brake also. That's a major plus right there. And it's got a 4-pin centrifugal brake, which is pretty nice. And it's got some pins, they just slide back and forth to help with the braking. I usually run 2 pins. I'm not sure if I'm gonna take 2 off or not on this reel. We'll get there when we get there. And this is the brake. This is the mag brake on the inside here. It just got 4 nice big magnets. It's pretty sharp. It also has the clicker there, which is right there. And the cogwheel is another upgrade part. Sometimes I like to take that out and replace it with one with a bearing on it. Another trick is to take a razor blade, and there's kind of like a little nipple part here that sticks up along the shaft there, and you'll just take a razor and push that in and roll it real carefully, and a little ring will pop off. You can check my video before this and I'm showing that. I went ahead and did this one. So that just slides right up out of there like that. And then I'll take some sandpaper or something to remove any kind of extra stuff left on that. All right, so what I do from there is I'll take a C-clip, which you'll have to buy some. And I'll put that on top of that shaft, on top of that cogwheel there, and then it'll run a lot more free. Before I did that, it was rubbing the top of that shaft. It's kind of got a, I guess you call what, a riveted type of end on there. Get some grease on your fingers, you can't hardly get a hold of these little things. That's a C-clip, and they are dangerous. They're like a spring combination with a boomerang and a frisbee or something. They're terrible. Anyway, that guy goes on there like that. Put your finger on that sucker, because we're probably going to get to see it fly. Hopefully not, but take a flat, something nice and flat. Actually, here we go. We'll just use this. And that thing just clips on there. That's not going to be big enough. So it clips on there, and then it's going to be a lot better running. That's what it looks like when it's all done, and it's running way better than it was before. Another little trick I came across, a lot of guys complain about their clicker is not loud enough. Open your reel up. A lot of times the manufacturers and the factories and that, they'll put a whole bunch of grease and oil all along this wheel that is attached to the spool. Same thing with the cog wheel. If that's got a bunch of grease on it, clean some of that off of there, and it'll be a whole lot louder. Plus another thing, if your clicker is super loose, you can take that spring off of there, give it one twist just to tighten it up some, and put it back on, and it'll be a lot tighter. Another pro to this reel is it has some big honking screws that go in that side, nice and heavy duty. Really like that quite a bit. And then on the other side, your left side plate has got these nice little screws that got the little seal, little washer there. Helps keep any kind of stuff out of there. It's pretty nice too. The handle comes with a nice pretty metal nut there. The handle itself is pretty sharp, I gotta say. It's got a little cap that will come out of there. It's held in place pretty good. Just use a little tiny screwdriver, and then you can add some oil to that to help it out a little bit. It's pretty sharp. I enjoy that. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this reel so far here. When I put these spools back in, I always make sure all my brakes are in all the way, because they rub on this ring on the inside of here, and that's what stops it and slows it down, I should say, when you're casting. So what I like to do is I'll flip it this way, because if you go flipping it upside down, one of them brakes is going to come out, and it'll get hung up on that ring right there sometimes, and you're gonna sit there and push and screw that thing all up. Anyway, I run it like this, that way none of them things come flying out of there. So it goes in, and then you'll give it a little turn, it'll fall into place the way it's supposed to be. And you'll know it's in place because your handle or your drive will move. You can see it turning, hopefully. So I know I'm in. Then I'll flip it up. I know I'm safe because it's in. All right, So all that's together in there. We're going to go ahead and put this on there. That way our spool and everything is all in the proper spot. Got that guy back together there on the sides. So a pretty nice star drag. Looks like a gunmetal color. And the same with the spool caps. They are a gunmetal color also, it looks like. Pretty sharp. I'm a fan of that kind of color there. Another thing to remember before you go putting your handle back on, this thing, don't forget that guy, little washer there helps separate things. And it goes pointed down away from your handle towards the star drag. Then your other C-clip, the fun part, I think that's just the worst part for me when it comes to tearing reels down, is that darn C-clip. I wish they'd come up with something else. Anyway, that guy goes down before you go putting your handle. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. Handle goes on. All right. Because that's not going to go over the handle, but it will, the nut will align with it. Let's see if I can shoot one across the room today. All right, we're back on. That nut just goes over that. Hand tight. This reel actually comes with its own tool, which is pretty sharp. Comes with a nice little extra screws and things because you can attach it to your rod if you like. So I want to say you get that point towards that screw hole. Little screw guy goes right there. I like to take just a little bit of oil, just a nice light oil on them worm gears. I'll just give it just a little bit. I never put any grease on there. It's just going to slow everything down. I actually got a little bit on the cover, so I'm going to take that off because I don't want it running. I don't want anything slowing anything down. And that's a lot smoother than it was already. Probably need to mess around with it, but you get the picture. That's already faster than what it was. I didn't really show you before, but you put some line on there, 5-ounce sinker and a big skipjack head. I think this guy's gonna go a nice distance. So here's the one out of the box that I didn't do anything to. Might even be able to hear it. It doesn't really turn a lot. I got the drags backed off pretty good, and I got most of this is pretty loose to where it should be able to move pretty good. It's only spinning just a little bit, you know. It's not bad out of the box, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to fish with anything out of the box. Let's get real. We're going with hybrid ceramic bearings always, and that's just much smoother. Moving along pretty good. I can feel so much less tension in this reel that we just did all that work to. you know, and it really wasn't even all that work. It was just a few bearings, take it apart, knocked off some grease, freed up that cogwheel. All them things right there is just a major improvement on that. And it is on any of these baitcaster reels, especially the round reels, Abu Garcia, 6500s, 7000s, any of these reels you can do things with. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you got something out of it, and I hope you can build your own monster with some of this stuff I've showed here. Like, subscribe, and please share, comment if you want. I'm on Fishbrain and I'm on Instagram. Talk to me anytime. If you got any questions, just ask. Thanks a lot.